さらにはすでに意識を分断された春生の下顎へダメ押しの左アッパー。
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the anime antagonists that got the most satisfying kicks in the rear. Number 20, Muscular, My Hero Academia. When it comes to villains, it's hard to get more intimidating than Muscular. He's beefy, he's mean, and he nearly grounded poor Deku into a certified pulp. But that just made it all the more vindicating when the hero stepped up for round 2. Try not to blink through it though. With a few new quirks up his sleeve, Deku absolutely wrecks Muscular. The crook didn't even know what hit him before he was back behind bars. The message is loud and clear. Muscular isn't even strong enough to qualify as Deku's rival anymore. Punch or not, that's gotta sting.
1-4 オールフルカウルインパクト 45% デトロイトスマッシュ
Number 19, Kurakawa, Sabikui Bisco. Say what you will about Kurakawa, but he sure is consistent. In his quest to uncover the secrets of the Rust Eater, the one thing you can count on is that he'll be beaten, bruised, and embarrassed every which way. Sometimes it's an arrow to the face, and sometimes it's melting in a vat of boiling rust. But no matter what, Kurakawa always gets the short end of the stick. If the season's last episode is anything to go by, Kurakawa can't win even when he's turned into a giant rust-covered mech. Given his track record, he really should have just walked away. Number 18, Silver, Mashall, Magic and Muscles. Mash may not have a single magical bone in his body, but when it comes to good old-fashioned fisticuffs, he doesn't need one. He's basically the One Punch Man. In his defense, Silver was totally asking for it. The cocky wizard spent all day gloating that no one could survive 10 blows from his iron magic. But when the roles were reversed, Silver couldn't even take 2 punches before he became a sniveling beggar. If Mash had finished the other 8, he'd probably be more pancake than human. Silver learned the hard way that there's only one knockout specialist at Eastern Academy, and their name is Mash.
もうやめにしようか。なんかかわいそうだし。
Number 17, Jason Yamori, Tokyo Ghoul. Kaneki knows a thing or two about pain. Most of it he learned through Jason's blood-stained experiments, but eventually the tortured became the torturer, and it's something else. All of Jason's cruel and unusual methods majorly backfired, turning Kaneki into a ghoul with something to prove. He tears through his warden with utter abandon, even eating the man's own ghoul organ for a quick power boost. Against this kind of Kaneki, Jason never stood a chance. In fact, his death is so gruesome, it's almost hard to watch. Almost. The gross approach is worth it to see Jason finally reap what he sowed. Number 16, Sosuke Eizen, Bleach. The captain of the Soul Society's 5th Division, former captain, thought he was unbeatable. Emphasis on thoughts. He didn't plan on Ichigo Kurosaki, who came in and showed who's really the Zanpakuto Pro. The look on Aizen's face when Ichigo blocks his strike is just plain priceless. And that's not even the main event. As retribution for the betrayal, murder, and attempted coup, Ichigo destroys his arch-nemesis with a glorious final Getsuga Tensho. Just like its name implies, it's the final thing Eizen sees for a very long time. Well, besides the inside of a prison, that is. Number 15, Mamoto Barona, Zatch Bell. Someone should tell these guys that invisibility is no substitute for real combat experience. While Zatch couldn't exactly see his opponents, he doesn't need his eyes to throw a punch, especially when Barona reeks of stinky nuts. Zatch uses his nose to pin the unseeable foe down, and from there, he quickly makes up for lost time, and then some. Moral of the story, don't try to outmaneuver Zatch. He'll catch you and deliver the pain with interest. As if to hammer it home, Barona and their partner end up running off into a river with their tail between their legs, literally. Number 14, Kang Tae-shik, solo leveling. Under the guise of a noble crusade, Kang successfully justified all sorts of selfish assassinations. He might have gotten away for it too, had he not tried to kill the witnesses. Unfortunately for him, one of those pesky bystanders just happened to be Jinnu. The hunter was pissed, vengeful, and ready to show off the results of his grinding. Though to Kang, it probably just looked like a blur. A few strikes here and there, and this guy's smug smile vanished in a dance of bloody retribution. Hey, the assassin was right about one thing, it's just natural selection, and clearly, he isn't the apex predator anymore. Number 13, Haruta Shigemo, Jujutsu Kaisen. During the Shibuya incident arc, Nanami swooped in and asked Haruta a very simple question. Where are his allies, and how many of them are there? Haruta tried to hold firm, but he quickly learned that this wasn't a request. It was an interrogation, and a cathartic one at that. After all, the frame of Nanami holding Haruta's hair broke the internet for a reason. The evil sorcerer tries to apologize, but it comes too late for his face. Or the rest of his body for that matter. Haruta's downfall is the beatdown to end all beatdowns, proving they don't call Nanami a grade 1 sorcerer for nothing. Number 12, Envy, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's no surprise that given this homunculus's name, he is the worst of the worst. If you want proof, how about the fact that Envy didn't just kill Mustang's best friend, he did it with a smile. Well, fast forward a few dozen episodes, and Envy's grin is replaced with screams. It took a while, but Mustang finally got his revenge, and it came in the form of a glorious incineration. He burns Envy so thoroughly, the homunculus's regenerative body can't even keep up anymore. If it sounds like a lot, that's because it is, but trust us, Envy deserved each and every ember. Number 11, Team Rocket, Pokemon. There may not be any villains in all of storytelling that fail just as much as these three. At this point, it's genuinely easier to count the episodes where Jessie, James, and Meowth don't go blasting off again.
We're blasting off again!
But credit where it's due, they definitely get points for perseverance.
Team Rocket blasting off again!
No matter how many times they get sent to the stars above, Team Rocket comes back with yet another harebrained scheme to steal Pikachu, and like clockwork, they almost always end up on the wrong side of a thunderbolt. Again and again, whether it's commendable or pure lunacy, their persistence sure is something to behold.
We're blasting off again!
Number 10. KTH FateZero. Arrogant villains are always the best choice for a well-deserved beatdown, and luckily for us, this Magus is as smug as they come.
アーチボルト家9代目当主ケイネス・エルメロイがここにつかまつ
After having his secret base destroyed by Kiritsugu, KTH arrives at the Eizen Manor to take some sweet revenge. He has no problem keeping his prey on the ropes thanks to his pet ball of mercury that can block almost anything and slice you to bits at the same time. Alas, no one expects the magic bullet, and Kiritsugu manages to land 2 shots with his signature pistol. The first one pierces the shoulder, while the second one completely fries KTH's nerves. Number 9. Nobuyuki Sugo. Sword Art Online. The owner of Alfheim Online seems up to some shady business considering 300 people are somehow trapped in his game, including series love interest Asuna. This obviously doesn't sit well with Kirito, and he enters into virtual reality one more time to find his girl. In the climactic showdown, Kirito overpowers him with the use of his admin commands. Nobuyuki gets so mad that he tries to ambush the teenager in the real world with a knife and loses a second time. Number 8. Risho. Yu Yu Hakusho.
This is gonna be a short one.
Yes, he's just a waste of time.
Risho is shown to be the strong silent type who only speaks out when one of his teammates is about to get blasted from outside the ring. His true personality comes out when he takes to the ring to face a heavily injured Kuwabara in the final round. His opponent can't even summon his weapon, but that doesn't stop this ruthless ninja from decimating the poor guy with magic. Fortunately for Kuwabara, the power of love kicks in and charges his power just enough to smack Risho out of the arena. You're done, son.
So get out of my ring!
Number 7. Neferpito. Hunter x Hunter. Pito is not an opponent to be taken lightly considering their position as one of the Chimera Ant King's royal guards. It's not just a fancy title either, since they have no problem taking down the powerful hunter Kite.
僕ちょっと強いかも。
However, they make a fatal mistake in angering Gon, who, once learning of his friend's fate, releases his latent energy that not only ages him into an adult with a sweet hairdo, but also boosts his power considerably. Pito does the smart thing and tries to attack the beast from behind, only to meet one of the most brutal 2-hit combos we've seen in anime. Number 6. Koyoma. Mob Psycho 100. If there's one thing this series continuously hammers into our heads, it's that when mobs' emotions go out of control, it's a bad time for everyone. Koyoma, a high-ranking member of the criminal organization Claw, is sent out to do the worst possible thing he can do, kidnap Mob's brother Ritsu. Though he maintains the upper hand for most of the fight and ultimately completes his mission, he does piss off Mob enough to get a crash course in psychic wrestling. Their rematch, if you can even call it one, goes a little differently, with Koyoma barely lasting a second before he gets ping-ponged around the room. Number 5. Sea King, One Punch Man. Let's be honest here, if you're a villain in this world, it is your destiny to get your ass kicked. Deep Sea King stands out from his predecessors because he's the first tangible threat to the Heroes Association. He single-handedly takes down 2 high-rank heroes, Puri Puri Prisoner and Saitama's cyborg student Genos. The latter narrowly escapes death thanks to the efforts of the much less powerful but equally heroic Mumen Rider, who unfortunately becomes the Sea King's new punching bag for a bit. Thankfully, all the abuse and tearful monologues pay off when Saitama shows up to do what he does best. Number 4. Clementine, Overlord.
一人くらいならゆっくりと遊んでもいいんじゃない
We all knew this fight was coming, and we sure couldn't wait to see it happen. Clementine is one sadistic, crazy rogue sporting an outfit made from the medals of slain adventurers.
なんてねこれのこと
She greatly enjoys inflicting pain and suffering on her victims, which she makes very clear in the gruesome aftermath of her battle with the good-natured Swords of Darkness. Complementing this unstable personality is her skill in battle, showing little effort in dodging and countering Eizen's attacks in the first part of their fight. It's too bad then that Eizen is actually a great undead mage who is borderline invincible and can give a pretty mean hug. Number 3. Android 19, Dragon Ball Z. Created by Dr. Gero solely to take revenge on Goku for defeating the Red Ribbon Army, Android 19 is definitely not someone you'd want to meet in an alley. His signature ability allows him to absorb all manner of energy through the palms of his hands and add it to his own, so lobbing Kamehamehas at him is not exactly the best idea. After Goku succumbs to the reality of high cholesterol, 19 moves on to his next opponent who, unfortunately for him, has no medical conditions and has just ascended to Super Saiyan status.
Yes, that's the spirit, android! Never say die!
Needless to say, 19 is quickly disarmed and eventually blown away by Vegeta's new signature move. Number 2. Steely Dan, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. From killing old ladies with parasites to backhanding children across the face, this guy has absolutely no shame. Steely Dan is the antagonist's hired assassin, and he possesses the oh-so-pleasant stand named Lovers. This insect-sized stand crawls inside the victim's ear and attaches itself firmly to the brain. And yes, it gets worse because any damage that Dan takes is reflected onto the infected person. This might make him quite honestly the most frustrating villain to deal with, but Joseph's group eventually finds a way to stop this pest from causing any more damage, and Jotaro takes his frustration out with a solid 20-second Aura, one of the longest in the series. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Spandam, One Piece. Just like any long-running anime series, you're gonna have quite a few ass-kickings along the way. Spandam is a special case on this list just because of how much of a clumsy villain he is. He leads the Cypherpole 9, but he's a coward at heart and only appears threatening if his opponent is tied up. He's no stranger to pain, but it's honestly impressive how he can walk off having his face smashed in or slapped to unconsciousness. It's even more impressive that he's still alive after Robin's brutal and satisfying use of her clutch technique to pull him backwards and snap his spine like a twig.
Clutch!
Which villain deserves to be knocked down a few pegs? Let us know if they made our list in those comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.